Who's listening in 2025? Who's still listening in 2025? If you're listening to this classic in 2025, you're a legend. Anyone in 2025? Anyone listening in 2025 or 2024 or whenever the comment was written under the YouTube music video? I'm seeing this all the time, and it really puzzles and annoys me. I think it annoys me more than puzzles me. But is the old music better? Now, most people answer yes to this question, don't they? And when I say old music, I suppose I mean anything from before the year 2000, although some people seem to think that everything was wonderful musically up until about 2010. So even the music of 15, 20 years ago, some people of a certain age, obviously, seem to think is superior and much better. I know the grass is always greener, or often greener in the past, isn't it? And people do feel cozy and more comfortable and more secure in the past. But what is the truth about this? Is older music better? Most people would answer yes, including myself. I'm 45 now. But if this is true, how true is it? Or does it depend on someone's age? Why would it be true? How have we got to this almost, well, depressing situation? Well, a little bit depressing, if that's not a strong word, for me anyway, because it's this general thinking all the time, isn't it, that everything is better in the past and everything was wonderful and much better and nice in the past and everything's so awful and terrible now. And you hear this on so many subjects and themes, don't you? And music is just one of them. And I do relate. Most of the music I put energy into listening to or spend time listening to is music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, possibly 2000s as well, the noughties, as they used to say. So I'm one of those people, but I wonder, is it my age? And I often have to say to people, surely there must be. In fact, there is good quality, authentic stuff coming out now. But a lot of people say to me this comment also. They've no idea what's in the charts now. They said, I wouldn't be able to tell you what's in the charts now. I've got no idea. A lot of people over the age of 40 or maybe even over the age of 30 say this to me, that they've got no idea what's in the charts now. And of course, now that we don't have Top of the Pops and you can just listen to whatever you want, when you want, on demand, it's not surprising. I mean, Top of the Pops has been gone since 2006, hasn't it? So if music is generally better in the past, which most people agree it is, why is this? What happened? Because we know there was trash in the 70s and 80s as well. There's records that would have been regarded as rubbish then as well. And it can't all be wonderful and great and talented and authentic in the past. There must have been rubbish as well. In the music industry, it's always had its dark side and its ruthless and cruel side. The celebrity culture and the music industry's always had that to some extent. But what changed in your view, and what made everything better years ago musically? And what do you think of these comments you see under YouTube videos all the time? Anyone listening in 2025? Anyone in 2025? And, even if you're listening to this song or this classic in 2025, then you're a legend. And, let's face it, life wasn't all wonderful and innocent and lovely in past decades. There were dark times, difficulties, problems. In all decades, there've always been problems. There's always been a dark side and, pain and difficulty in life and the world. And I really question this general thinking that, about everything being so wonderful and better in the past and nothing being better now. Surely, logically, there have to be things which have improved. There have to be things which have progressed and got better. It can't all be worse. can't all be better in the past. That wouldn't make sense. And also, it's very depressing. It's almost like, um, you know, you also see these comments in a similar vein under YouTube videos, people saying, uh, oh, those were times that we'll never be able to relive. We'll never get that back. They'll never come back. A time, we can only have the memories. We can never bring it back. And a better time, a more innocent time. And all we can do is have the memories, people say, and it'll never be the same again. And certainly there seems to be a magic to the music industry, doesn't there? Maybe, before the internet anyway, before YouTube, before social media, where you had Top of the Pops and more physical records. And, there seems to have been this sense of excitement and adventure and, creativity and, new things and new trends emerging. And we do seem to have gone past those classic times, don't we? The 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even though there is, of course, there are loads of talented people in this generation and talented new artists and good songs. Of course, there must be, there have to be, although I don't have pay too much attention to what's been out or what's coming out in this last 10 years. There are songs that I hear that I like. I do hear songs, one or two a year at least, that I do relate to and do like and do look up in our modern era now, in my 40s. But no, nothing for me, I suppose, I don't know whether rightly or wrongly, nothing will have the magic that it had for me, in my younger years, the music from my 20s, the music from my teens, in the 90s and the noughties. And of course, the 70s, before I was born. Well, I was born in 1979. I don't know whether you count that as 70s or 80s. But yeah, getting back to the point and, just to wrap up, how do you feel when you see these comments all the time? Do you find it depressing, irritating? Depressing is a strong word, but I do find it depressing. I think how everything's so wonderful and so much better in the past, and people seem to think that we've lost that for good, and everything's worse now. And how do you feel about these comments under YouTube videos? Anyone listening in 2025, or if you're listening to this in 2025, you have good taste in music, people often write. If it's, for example, a pop video from the 90s or the 80s, or even one from the 2000s. So what's happened? How did music go downhill, in your view? Has it gone downhill, or are you in the minority of people that think that it's just as good and as it always was, but just different now? Are you in that minority that don't think it's always better in the past? Are you one of that minority, I'd say, who think that modern music is just as good, but just different? But if you think it's all better in the past, how would you explain that? What's happened in your view? And particularly, I'd like to hear from you if you're under 30, because a lot of people in their 20s seem to say to me that they think the old music is better. People as young as 21 or 19 have said to me that they think the old music is better, and that times were probably easier back then, even though they weren't around back then. And because they've got YouTube now, they can easily find and access and look at stuff from the past and know about it, whereas maybe when I was 21, maybe most people of my age group tended to gravitate mainly towards music from that time, the current time. We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have internet, so you couldn't access and find and listen to stuff from the past or know about stuff from the past so easily. But yeah, I'm particularly interested to hear from you if you're under 30. Do you think the old music is better? Do you listen to music from before your time or music from your childhood? Do you think music's got worse? And yeah, particularly, what do you think about these comments that we just keep seeing under music videos from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and as I said, even 2000s? People writing, anyone here in 2024 or 2023, anybody? Are you listening in 2021 or whatever year the comment was written? Do you find it annoying and do you find it a bit depressing that we think that everything good has been lost and everything was better in the past and everything's got worse? Yeah, this is a big thing that occupies my mind a lot, this sort of nostalgia, you know. I know why nostalgia is so good, you know, because people feel secure. People know where they are and they're comfortable with the past because it's set in stone, isn't it? Whereas the future is fluid and unknown to some extent or to a larger extent. In the past, we can feel cozy and comfortable. It's predictable. We know where we are with it. It's set in stone. So I do understand that. You know, I'm like most people, very nostalgic and sentimental. But I always think of the past as, I mean, I'm somebody who does tend to dwell on the past a bit too much. And, you know, I always say to myself, or try to say to myself, the past is like a hotel. You know, it's good to visit. You check in, but you can't stay there. You mustn't stay there. You must check out again. It's like a hotel room. That's how I look at the past. Because, yeah, I'm trying not to dwell in the past too much and think of the past as so lovely. And I, you know, generally question whether it is a question of age and if everything was so much better in the past and, you know, what's actually got better. There must be things that have got better. So, yeah, I'll leave it there. I think I was going to keep this video to 5 minutes or less. But yeah, it's probably gone way over that. Well, yeah, we're on nearly 12 minutes now. So yeah, we're talking about these comments under YouTube videos and why and how music has deteriorated or got worse. And or are you one of the minority of people who think that it's not worse, that it's just as good but different? Look forward to reading all your comments and opinions and perspectives on music in the past versus music now.